How goes it, family? How goes it? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional night. All right. So, tonight I'm going to be quick with it because it's Sunday. And like most people, I got to start my week tomorrow, but it's all good in the neighborhood. All right. So, everybody and their mother's talking about the whole Monique situation with her and D.L. Hugley. I've used today as a moment for me to educate myself on the process more so in regards of the situation. Usually I don't speak on too many celebrity beefs, but I will say with all sincerity that one, it's very interesting. Two, the only reason why I'm speaking on this is this shows that regardless of whether you agree with Monique, disagree with Monique, agree with DL Hughley, disagree with DL Hughley, one thing just has to be put into perspective here. I don't care what job you're in. I don't care what business you're in. I don't care. You could be a millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, whatever have you. The biggest problem with Monique is that she does not want to show any coof. She does not want to act like a professional. When you're in any genre of business, you have to have some sort of coof and some sort of professionalism about yourself. Because one of the saddest things is, and hey, we've all had to learn this, you know, growing up, you go through growing pains, you know what I mean? Wonder years, it's like these are sitcoms that I grew up watching that you have to live and you learn. That's just the way life goes. No one knows everything growing up at every single age in your life, whether you're a child, a teenager, 20s, 30s, 40s, on up. Every decade of your life, you have an opportunity to learn something about yourself. And every decade of your life, you have a chance to be a better version of you. Be the best version that you can be in this life. But no one can become the best version of themselves if they think that they know every freaking thing and if they think that they're right all the time. And that is the biggest problem that I see with people like Monique. I'm not just calling her out. I'm just using the situation as an opportunity to show, hey, we all have a moment where we have to do a self evaluation of ourselves. You know how if you have a job, you have an annual evaluation of your performance appraisal, things of that nature. Shows you get a score. You might get a raise, you might not. You might get a bonus, you might not. Things of that nature. But I will say with all sincerity that um, the way that she behaved herself was not only unprofessional, but it wasn't really called for. And the biggest problem that we have in 2022, I say we've had this since I'm gonna go with 2005, 2006. That's when social media was really starting to blow up all over the place on all levels. It wasn't even just Facebook, like all. If you even look at reality TV shows during that time frame, people were posting comments, giving their perspective on certain reality TV shows, on certain websites, on just everything. That was really the era when all versions, all aspects of social media was really starting to take, blow up and just grow and grow and grow into the monster that it is today. But I will say with all sincerity that the biggest problem in 2022 is that people love to display all the dirty laundry on the freaking internet. And the saddest thing is that there's always going to be certain instances where certain things just don't need to be displayed online. It's like you don't need to put all your body parts out there. You don't need to put every single aspect of your freaking day, what you do every single day. You make it easy for a criminal to track you down or a terrorist to track you down, kidnap you, kill you, whatever. And I'm not saying that to be funny. You're making it easier for people to figure out what you're doing. Even when you're checking in to where you're going on vacation or if we're at a specific event, a lot of times you're leaving yourself a lot more vulnerable because you're putting yourself out there to the world, to the public, whatever have you. But the whole thing is, moral of the story is, because like I said, I'm not trying to be live too long tonight. I will say the saddest thing is with Monique's situation is I haven't heard from her. The last time I heard from Monique was years before the 2020 pandemic. And it was unfortunately due to some drama with her and Steve Harvey, Charlemagne on the Breakfast Club. Netflix. And the thing is, I don't care what industry. You could be a truck driver, you could be a freaking factory worker, construction worker, you can be any sort of skilled trades person. You could work in the financial banking industry, IT industry, tech industry, whatever, medical industry. Regardless of what it, because everybody wants to put this on Hollywood, but let's be real, let's be adults about this. I don't care what industry you work in or what business you might have. If you're known in any specific industry as being difficult to deal with, eventually people are not going to want to work with you anymore. Case in point, let's just give a real life example of, even though this person isn't really real, but let's give a real life example. Say if there's a developer that works for Apple, and this developer is great at what they do, but this developer is known for being a jerk and not easy to work with, very narcissistic, and does not want to listen to anyone else's opinion. Then eventually nobody's going to want to work with that specific developer, no matter how great they are. They might steal their ideas or might just blackball them and say, hey, if Facebook calls Apple for a reference in regards to this developer, Apple's going to be like, yeah, don't hire this person, because not only did this person quit, but we gave this person an option to either quit or we were going to fire them because of X, Y, Z reasons. Okay? And then this developer is wondering why they can't freaking get hired anywhere else, because you developed a great reputation of being a jerk and being difficult to work with. This is true. I'm just giving a tech industry example, but this is true across all industries. Even Elon Musk and Steve Jobs, rest his soul, had to humble themselves because they knew that they were very intelligent. They knew they had the brightest and greatest ideas, but they knew they were being jerks in certain situations. They had to humble themselves to ensure that they could build relationships with other people. Because if you're in the business of always taking people off and getting on people's bad side, eventually people are going to be like, okay, you're not that special to the point where we can't go elsewhere. You're not that powerful to the point where we can't go elsewhere. This is the United States of America. We can do business anywhere in the freaking world we want to. Okay? Countries, dictatorships have had to humble themselves to get other businesses to want to do business within their country, from Cuba to China to Russia, Africa. The list goes on and on. You know what I mean? So, I'm saying this because Monique acts like that she is the queen goddess, and she doesn't need to ever humble herself. And her and her husband, they think that, you know, she's worth all this money. And I'm here to say it because I'm not being a DL Hugley supporter or a Monique supporter. I'm just being a realist. Any comedian, come a dime a dozen. So when you're given a specific offer and you don't like the offer, then the crazy thing is to just say, no, thank you. That's the way business works. That's the way a job works. I mean, got to be from a business perspective. When you want to go for a job, you interview, the employer likes you, they give you an offer, you counter the offer, or you accept the offer, and if you don't like the offer that they give you, you counter the offer, and then if they say no, well, this is what we think you're worth for this specific job and this specific position. Okay? You have a choice as an adult to say, okay, I accept, I don't accept. Very black and white. But then when you accept the position and you cry like a little kid, then people are looking at you as a freaking suspect. All right? And that's why I laugh every time now I hear Monique, because the saddest thing is that I used to have a lot more respect for her compared to now. I mean, heck, you know, I'm an 80s baby. I grew up watching first time I saw Monique was on a comedy special back on HBO back in the 90s. It was called Snap. You know, that she was fresh, still living in Baltimore, Maryland. You know, being a comedian, traveling, doing what she was doing. I think she was more of a stand-up comedian then than she actually is now. You know, now she's not really that funny as a stand-up comedian. She's more of an actress now. I don't think she's put in enough time to be on stage, and the fact that you're getting on stage and you're complaining about people, that's not comedy. People go, I look, and I'm commenting on this because I love to go to a comedy show. I will go to a comedy show before I go to see my favorite rapper, singer, rock artist, or whatever. I love comedy. So that's why I'm speaking on the situation. I love comedy. So I love comedy, and I love to be able to laugh my butt off. Okay, I've gone to see Godfrey recently. When I was in Atlanta, I went to go see Tony Rock. I love comedy. I'm a fan. So I would have been if I was in that audience when she went off the way she did. I would have been very pissed off because I would have been like, "This is the one place you can go to," and this is what made the pandemic so hard for everybody. This is the one place you can go to where you can cut off the political nonsense. You can cut off the life nonsense. You can just laugh at whatever. Laugh at pain, laugh at joy, laugh at whatever, and enjoy life. That is what I'm saying about that. And with that being said, Monique, you were wrong. And if D.L. Hugley was wrong, great. But see, here's the thing. We're halfway through 2022. We don't have time for this drama anymore. This is really why I'm making this video. It's not even just because of Monique and D.L. Hugley. We don't have time for this back and forth on the internet crap. We don't have time for this back and forth. You screwed me and blah, 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 blah. We don't have time for all that. People are losing their homes or are going to lose their homes. Inflation is high. Gas is high. Food is high. Everything is high from an economic standpoint. There's no time to be wasting for this bickering and back and forth nonsense, because it's like the saying that I have on my t-shirts. I don't do drama, I do business. And the saddest thing is, most people would die and kill to be in a position like Monique and D.L. Hugley, and would not ever try. They would go out of their way to ensure that they do not have any specific drama like you constantly see with a Monique. And that's the problem with Monique and people like her. You're in a very great position where you can make money moves and not live broke like a fool, but you're putting yourself in a position to where, and I don't like to count on other people's money, but you're putting yourself in a position where you have the opportunity to lose it all because you want to be right. And that is a problem with most people today. They will go through any lengths to prove that they're freaking right. They will lose their job, they will lose their business, they will lose friends and family members just to prove that they're freaking right. Is it that serious? Okay? We are in the season, we've been in the season of the CTC. I mean, the first time I heard that saying from Warren Sapp, former football player. Collect a check. Even if it's not the check that you think that you deserve. Who cares? Sit down, shut up, collect a check so that you can put yourself in a position to not only survive, but maybe be able to put yourself in a position where you can provide jobs for other people and buy other assets and be able to move freaking on. This is the biggest problem, especially in the African American community, with a lot of people wanting to complain when they're making great money and complain about certain things, instead of looking at the position that, okay, I might be getting screwed in one area, but because I'm making millions of dollars, I can set myself up in a position to have generational wealth so that I don't have to freaking do these specials for the rest, these Netflix specials or comedy specials for the rest of my life. It becomes an option and not a must. And that's where I get upset. And I think it's ridiculous that people don't look at that situation. Especially, I would think somebody like Monique, coming from the hood in Baltimore, Maryland, knowing better, knowing that you could lose it all just like that and end up back in the world that you came from, that you want to act a fool because you're not getting your way. The saddest thing is, and my mother hates when I say this, but age is nothing but a freaking number, because I see people my age in their 30s, people on up, acting like 5-year-olds completely because they didn't get their way. Guess what? To quote Dennis Leary in the movie The Ref, welcome to the real world where most of the time things don't go your way. Crazy concept, I know. Very immature of me to say that. But that's how the freaking real world works. Because if not, then everybody would be a millionaire and a freaking billionaire. Everybody would be able to sit on the beach and sip Mai Tais every day. But that's not the way the freaking real world works. You work, you think the person working at McDonald's and Burger King, a gas station, is like, dang, I'm glad I'm me. But no, they make the sacrifices, do what they got to do, and move forward. You think that person going through boot camp in the military, person going through school, in the medical profession or law enforcement profession, somebody going to college and whatnot, and said, dang, I'm glad I'm me. Somebody having to raise 4 or 5 kids and whatnot every day saying, dang, I'm glad I'm me. No, you have to push forward and move on with your life. There are people that would kill to be in Monique's position and would have a lot more, not only gratitude, but have more class about them all at the same time. And this isn't me picking on Monique. This is me talking about anybody that's in that man, woman, child, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Middle Eastern, whatever. Being in a great position the way you can make moves. But you want to whine and complain like a little 5-year-old. And it's like, a lot of times one of my old colleagues said this, we don't evolve past high school. Man, if that's not the God's honest truth. Because when you're all constantly online, bickering back and forth with people, making enemies with people, constantly in the industry that you work in, aka Steve Harvey, aka Oprah Winfrey, aka Lee Daniels, aka Tyler Perry, you're making enemies, and this goes across the board for anybody in any specific industry. If you're making enemies with all the bigwigs in your industry, what in God's green earth makes you think that you're going to be able to make moves in that specific industry by burning all the bridges that are even in those industries? It's a great question. I can't answer that question. I know the reality of it. I know the common sense approach of it, but I'm just being realistic on this. It's not because a lot of people say, well, that's just Hollywood. No, that's any industry. I don't care if you're in transportation, medical industry, you work for a government institution, you work in the financial industry. I don't care what industry you work in. If you acting a fool and acting like a freaking 5-year-old every time you don't get your way, eventually people are going to be like, well, I don't want to deal with that. I want to find the adult in the room, not the child. I have children of my own. I don't want to hire a child to work for me. I already got that at home. I want to deal with an adult when I'm conducting business. I don't want to deal with a grown woman or grown man that wants to get online and complain about the industry that I'm helping them get a foothold in, or I'm helping them stay alive. Because at the end of the day, love it or hate it, D.L. Hugley is way more relevant than freaking Monique will ever be. They might come from the same era, but I'm just going to keep it real. D.L. Hugley is way more relevant than Monique will ever be in the comedy world. Okay, Monique may have done more movies than DL. I'm not going to quote that, but I will say that DL Hugley's been putting more work in the game in the comedy world than she ever has, and DL Hugley's way more funnier than Monique is. If we're just going to keep it real, So that's my 2 cents on it. The saddest thing is, it's like this behavior just shows that 1, age is nothing but a number. 2, no matter how much money you have, a lot of times you can't be happy. And 3, a lot of times people just need to admit that, hey, I maybe not have the talent that I used to have, because to be quite honest with you, Monique is more of an actress nowadays than she is a freaking comedian. That's just what it is. Okay? Now, I could say that about Eddie Griffin, but I can't. I've seen Eddie Griffin do his stand-up within the last couple of years. He's still got it. Hasn't missed a freaking beat. Okay? Same thing with Charlie Murphy. Rest his soul. You know what I mean? So it's like, I can call like I see it at the end of the day. Same thing with Tiffany Haddish. I got a great memory of Tiffany Haddish. 2020, January, my birthday, before the pandemic, fully hit back in March and April of 2020. I saw her in Los Angeles at the comedy club or the comedy store and whatnot in Los Angeles, and she was in the way of the bathroom. I needed to use the restroom. I was like, hey, get out the way. I didn't realize until I went to the restroom, oh man, I almost bum rushed Tiffany Haddish. It was funny. But girlfriend got on stage, killed it. Okay? And whether you love Tiffany Haddish or hate Tiffany Haddish, I'm going to say this about Tiffany Haddish. She works hard, 1, and she's focused on the business, 2, and 3, she's putting other people on. But she helps out a lot of great people. One of my favorite comedians, Godfrey. She puts him on her late night, Friday night show and whatnot. So love or hate Tiffany Haddish is about her business. And she's not letting the industry as messed up as the Hollywood industry is, jade her into saying, hey, regardless of what may go against my principles or not, I'm focused on business. Because at the end of the day, it's show business, not show drama. And that's what all I see that Monique displays. If you have a gripe, the crazy thing is, especially if you have a business gripe, here's a crazy concept. One, don't post it all on social media. Two, get a freaking lawyer and go from there. But what do I know, right? Common sense. Anyways, I'm done. Do the great 3 free things, family. Like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully you guys have a great night. And on that note, family, as I always say, unlike Monique, make money moves or you're going to lay broke like a fool. Take care, family.